on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC reality check, and you don't see my pretty sexy face, which you haven't seen in months, but I promise you this time it's because I'm actually not alone. Guapo, what's going on, buddy?
Hola, mis amigos. Senor Guapo's back again. That's right. And this time, we're not talking about AEW again?
No. Not AEW.
Wait,
not WWE.
No?
Not NXT.
Not NXT?
Wait,
hold on. Is it NXT 3.0 now?
No, and it's not NXT UK, and it's not NXT Level Up.
No.
But yeah, we are talking about all the non-WrestleMania elements of WrestleMania weekend, and hence we have Guapo, because there's a lot of stuff I'm going to need help with on this one.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had a video quite like this since the first AEW pay-per-view when I rang you up and said, Guapo, tell me who these people are. So, Friday, we've got two pay-per-views coming up that have nothing to do with WrestleMania. Friday's the most loaded night. We were just talking about this off air. It's the most loaded night of the entire WrestleMania weekend, because if you consider the weekly shows, we have SmackDown, we have Rampage, we have the Hall of Fame that's being filmed in the same building right after SmackDown, which is a bit lame. And then you have what we're going to talk about tonight, which is Impact Wrestling's Multiverse of Matches live from WrestleCon, and ROH Supercard of Honor. Now, I've not sat down and watched a full Ring of Honor show in my life.
Yes.
And there's people on the Multiverse of Matches show that I'm not familiar with, either because they're from New Japan or from ROH or from wherever. So there's going to be a lot of, I'm going to throw it to Guapo because Guapo knows things. And the rest of it is going to be sort of, I follow Impact more than I used to, so I'll be able to toss in some stuff on the Multiverse of Matches side of things. And when we switch over to Supercard of Honor, I think it's going to be more in your wheelhouse. But I do want to say really quickly, seeing as we were just talking about it a second ago, you were at, what was it, No Surrender?
Yes,
live,
that was right.
Because you're a bastard. How was that?
Honestly, that was probably the best show I've ever been to live.
A lot of fun, right? A lot
so
of things just
fun.
You were there for specifically the show where a lot of stuff was kicking off with Honor No More, with the Bullet Club, with the newly reassembled, I guess you could say, Bullet Club.
Yes.
You got to see what I've been talking about as far as somebody like a Speedball Mike Bailey.
Right.
You got to see some other big boys in
some big meaty men slapping meat. That's what I got to see. I mean, just that entire show was amazing. I mean, the takeaway for the night, obviously, it was amazing to see the first Jay White match outside of New Japan Wrestling live in person.
Now, I'm losing track of things. Was the Women's Ultimate X match on the show that you were at?
No, it was not.
Or was that Tasha Steelz and Mickie James?
That was Tasha Steelz, Mickie James, yes.
Okay. So, you had a lot of fun. You're a bastard.
So much fun.
As we just started talking about, I actually got to
in case the viewers want to go back and watch. If you go back and watch Impact, No Surrender. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go watch it again. I am sitting there wearing a Good Brothers Nerdometer T-shirt next to some douchebag named my friend Josh wearing a Hook shirt. The white Hook shirt, so he's very noticeable the entire fucking night. And we're sitting ringside towards the ramp. Like, it's very easily able to spot
once
me
you
all
see
night.
you can't miss you.
No,
I think on the night I did like a screen cap and I zoomed in so much that you were basically like a couple of pixels. So helpful to nobody. So you got to go see some wrestling, and while I've been sitting here all the way through COVID saying, you goddamn bastard, I actually got to go see some wrestling over the weekend. I got to go see Destiny, check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list, and the WWE Live Toronto show that I was supposed to go to back in December got postponed to this past Sunday, and it was hosted by Trish Stratus, who basically cut a promo on COVID restrictions, which really, really made me laugh, and Kevin Owens was a babyface for a night.
There you go.
Also, Rey Mysterio and Dominic tried to get over with the Toronto crowd because Dominic came out in a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey and Rey Mysterio came out in a Bret Hart jacket.
Did they get over?
Oh, yeah, they were over. It was the two of them and Kevin Owens and Trish Stratus beating the hell out of The Miz.
I mean,
because Miz's whole promo was, I can't wait to get back out of here and get back to America. That's how you get a Toronto crowd on your side, clearly.
That's exactly how you do it, because Canada's full of crazy people.
And bagged milk.
Yep, especially the bagged milk. God, fucking weird.
All right. Even though technically, Supercard of Honor is happening first and Multiverse match is happening later in the night, I don't really do things on this show that make sense. So we're going to start with Multiverse of matches. We got Eddie Edwards, who I really like, not representing Impact though. Because this is a whole, like, everybody representing a bunch of different companies, Eddie Edwards has gone out of his way, even though he's an Impact wrestler, he's gone out of his way to say, I'm not representing Impact, and then he's, like, representing some other company that he used to wrestle for, something, Noah, something or other. And then from New Japan, which is not my cup of tea at all, you got somebody that you're going to have to talk more about than me, and Tommy Hero with the itchy knee.
Oh, yeah, Ishii. Oh, my God. The Stone Pitbull, man. It's fucking amazing. I mean, there's not really much else. If you know who Tomohiro Ishii is, I mean, he does it by himself. The man's fucking 46 years old, still doing it at the highest level. I mean, the dude's a physical presence inside the ring.
I was going to say, like, I've seen the little bits of, like, promo package that they've put together for him, and he looks like a little bit of a, safe to say, a wrecking ball heavy hitter.
Yeah.
And exactly. I'm not, for those of you that out there that think I'm, like, shitting on New Japan, I'm not shitting on New Japan, I'm just not familiar. This is why we have Guapo. Eddie Edwards, correct, I think, is doing a really, like, this niche that he's found with the Honor No More group is really, really cool, because he's doing that, it's that whole emotional, oh my god, you're pulling the heart out of Impact, because he was kind of that guy, the way that maybe you would say an AJ Styles used to be for TNA back in the day. So for him to be so loved, and then so loving that he's gotten to take that away from the fans, I think he's doing it awesomely. I
mean, Eddie is the one that did turn on his Impact team at No Surrender, and helped Honor No More win.
Somebody was there, yeah. I mean, with his friend Ken, Ken Dostick.
Yes, Ken Dostick. Sorry, I'm muting myself to blow my nose as allergies are killing me right now.
Are you sure you don't have the vid?
No vid, just seasonal allergies, because Louisiana weather cannot get with it. It is literally 80 degrees during the day and then fucking 40 degrees at night, and it's miserable.
So not COVID, no vid.
No. Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so Eddie Edwards, as I say, like, great wrestler. We know this. We know this from his days back with the Wolves and all that kind of thing. And he's one of the ones, like, I watch, you and I have talked about it a bit. Like, I've sort of gotten back into Impact through the amount of Impact people that I've seen at Destiny. And Eddie Edwards was one of those ones that when I started watching again, it's like, oh, I remember him from back in the day. So for me, it's going to be like, here's the guy I know. He's the one I'm going to back. And I'm probably going to see him get pounded into the ground like a tent spike, from what you're telling me.
Yes, pretty much.
All right, fair enough. Speaking of old school Impact, we're going to stick with old school Impact and talk about one half of the Motor City Machine Guns, Chris Sabin, taking on ya boy, Jay White.
King Switch, baby, King Switch.
Like, honest to Christ, how good is this match going to be?
Oh, it's going to be fucking epic. The entire match is going to be so fucking good. Fuck. Sorry, my allergies are kicking in at the second, but
it's all good, man.
I mean, this is one of the dream matches that people have probably been talking about as soon as Jay White was announced to be in America, and that's something I'm still not 100% sure if he's still with New Japan or if he's just a free agent working wherever he wants. Because I don't think he's signed anywhere.
I don't think so. Like, and it got all strange because everybody from the AEW side of things were like, oh, he showed up on like Dynamite for a hot minute the same night that Keith Lee debuted, and then it's like, oh, but like then he disappeared, and I'm like, so watch Impact. He's on Impact tag teaming with Chris Bay, and it's pretty awesome.
I think he's disappeared from AEW just simply because the Kenny's progression getting healthy was halted for something. So
and it kind of looks like they're
Kenny
setting up
comeback.
Kenny's comeback to be more Adam Cole.
Correct.
Because we're gonna get. They're not called the Undisputed Era anymore, but it's basically going to be the Undisputed Era versus the Elite when Kenny gets back. Is my prediction.
Yes.
Prediction.
And then you throw in Jay White in there somehow, and it's gonna be fucking epic. Or you'll throw in Jay White with the Good Brothers and make it a triple threat, fucking 9-man match.
And see, I wouldn't mind that either because, we had a lot of Impact guys go over to... a lot of AEW guys come into Impact for a time or two, but not very much the other way other than the Good Brothers. And the way that Chris Bay is sort of in Bullet Club right now, if he sort of tags along for the ride and he gets some exposure on Dynamite, which I'm sorry to Impact, but Dynamite's a bigger show.
Yes.
That wouldn't hurt my... get Chris Bay in there.
Chris Bay's so fucking good, too.
He is. And, as a singles guy, but also the team that he's formed with Jay White within Bullet Club. But I wouldn't mind any excuse to get Chris Bay on Dynamite. Get him in the same ring as Swerve Strickland.
Or somehow if you're able to get Kenta over here, too. Just... fucking dilute this shit with all the Bullet Club people and just make a Bullet Club Civil War.
Just keep filling AEW with ex-NXT guys. I see what you're saying. It's fine. I'm an asshole.
He was not an NXT guy first, but okay.
Okay, but what I will say as well is, as much as, these are a bunch of cool matches that have been thrown together, there is a bit of story here. I don't know how much you've been following since the show you were at. But
honest, I haven't because I haven't had time.
The pay-per-view after the one you were at, it was Jay White taking on the returning Alex Shelley.
Okay.
Which was really fucking good, and I'm a mark for Alex Shelley, and we're going to talk about him in a second. But that also led to Jay White and Chris Bay taking on the Motor City Machine Guns in a little bit of a Motor City Machine Guns reunion. Which was really good. And this is the other half of that, now Jay White facing Chris Sabin. So I'm assuming Alex Shelley is going to face Chris Bay at some point, which I'm all the way in for.
Right.
For some reason, I see Sabin taking this. I don't know quite why, because they're doing this right now, but they're also looking ahead to Rebellion. So I don't know whether they're going to do another Motor City Machine Guns versus the Bullet Club thing, or whether they're going to escalate that in some other kind of way, get two more guys, have more of a Survivor Series type match. But I think Chris Sabin gets one up because the good guys have to score a point at some point.
King Switch, baby, King Switch.
Sorry. Biases are what they are. Speaking of the Motor City
You're
Machine
not
Guns,
wrong.
The other Motor City Machine Gun, and this is, as much as I can tell, just a match that was thrown together because it's going to be awesome, is Alex Shelley versus a guy that I've been telling you a lot about, and you finally got to see him in person. Tell me what you think of Speedball Mike Bailey.
I need him to wear some sort of shoes inside the ring. But besides that, he's fucking great. The dude took some sick-looking spots live with me sitting right there to watch it. But the dude's fucking good. The freaking hyper kicks that he does, the freaking Mortal Kombat super kicks, whatever bullshit this is.
It's like side to side kicks almost.
Yeah. Insane.
And the thing is, and I know I do the Spaz Phoenix, check it off your Spaz Phoenix bucket list. I saw him at Destiny first and all that, right? My first experience watching Speedball Mike Bailey was in the middle of COVID, when we couldn't even gather inside, and Destiny pulled their ring out into the parking lot, and I got to watch Speedball Mike Bailey and the Walking Weapon Josh Alexander beat the shit out of each other in a parking lot. In the front row.
Nice.
Very, very nice. That being said, I don't think they really know what they're doing with him, because they've got this sort of on-again, off-again friendship between him and Ace Austin. Ace Austin's another one I'm really curious to get your opinion on at another day, because he's not on this card, but he's basically Gambit. It's a thing.
He was also good.
Yeah, but he's a heel in Speedball. I don't know whether they're completely trying to play him off as either he's healing it up with Ace Austin or he's leading him along and then he's going to put him in his place eventually, because Ace Austin still has Madman Fulton as his technical tag team partner /heavy/diesel. Oh, shit, now that I've said that, I should say, because this is the first time you and I have collabed in a while, really, really, really shitty couple of weeks in wrestling between Triple H having to retire, Big E breaking his neck, and unfortunately Scott Hall passing away.
Yeah.
So, whole lot of good vibes to everybody. Like, there's not much to say. If you guys want more detailed videos, you're not going to get them from me. I would say check out our buddy OKFabe, but he's not really doing his thing anymore. But I would say go check out Joe Cronin. Definitely go check out Good Mic Work. Go check out the guys at What Culture. They'll be able to give you a more fitting tribute, I guess you could say, than I could, and than we're probably going to do tonight. But It would be shitty for us to go on without mentioning all of these things, because Triple H's situation sounds pretty terrifying. Big E's situation was pretty fucking terrifying, and Scott Hall is not with us anymore, and that's pretty shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's terrible because Scott Hall is somebody I know I grew up watching. I can physically remember watching the Nitro where the Outsiders invaded.
Yeah.
Like it was a very, very young Guapo, but this was a young Guapo that was able to watch wrestling before I gave the good old suck it to my parents, and
oh dear.
I was told I couldn't watch wrestling.
See, the shit that you watch, whatever you watched when you're younger is more important anyway, because when you're younger, you're watching wrestling and you're not like angsty, cranky fucks like we are now, like picking it apart. So whatever you watched at whatever time you were young is probably the better wrestling.
Oh, absolutely.
It's also kind of sad, like, the whole, like, you know, I don't want to go on a down note, but, like, several years ago, like, he was in a really bad spot where I hate to say it, but you wouldn't exactly have been surprised to hear the worst of the worst news.
Unfortunately, no.
But it happens now when he's got himself together. He went to, you know, the DDP, what was it, the accountability house or whatever the heck it was, and got himself all sorted, was helping other people get themselves sorted, and like of everything, like a blood clot in his hip is what takes him out, and that's just shitty. And then you hear about Triple H going in for surgery and thinking he wasn't going to come out, and then you see Big E on national television, like getting basically tombstoned on the ground in midair, and dude is out on Twitter every day, like, to make sure everybody else is good. Like, Big E's good people, if that wasn't already obvious.
Yes.
Anyway, so I just wanted to, now that I got that stuck in my head, I just wanted to take a pause. There's a whole lot of really negative, we're trying to have fun here, but there is a lot of, like, worrying shit going on. Just sort of put a general, like, we hope everybody's good vibe out there. Obviously, Triple H is going off in a different direction. Obviously, we hope the best for Big E and the friends and family and loved ones and fans of Scott Hall. Like, it is what it is. We all pull together. We all do the hashtag wrestling community, you know, thing. And that's my very ineloquent way of addressing all of that. Let's get into something really ugly. Josh Alexander and Jonah taking on Moose and PCO.
Some big meaty men slapping meat. That's what this is going to be.
Okay, we're telling a couple stories here again. This is one of those ones where there actually is a story. Jonah temporarily injured PCO. He was out for a couple of weeks. So that's an interesting part of the story. They're going to probably fight again at Rebellion. I don't know whether it's actually been confirmed yet. Josh Alexander is going after Moose for the Impact World title at Rebellion as well. And as I sent you the video, and the video is also available on this channel if you're listening on YouTube. If you're listening on a podcast platform, I can't really provide you with a video, so go to the YouTube channel. At the show that I was at on Saturday, the main event was Josh Alexander versus John Morrison. It was a lot of fun. John Morrison came out with Timbits headgear. It was hilarious. And then at the end of the night, Josh Alexander's wife Jade, who was also hosting the show, got speared by Moose.
Epic.
As God is my witness, she is broken in half. It's worst JR impression ever.
Yeah, just pretty bad. Yeah.
So there's some story going on here, but like months and months and months ago, we saw Josh Alexander beat Christian for the championship, only to have Moose cash in the same night. Then he started losing his shit, wanting another title shot. Scott D'Amore eventually sent him home to like chill the fuck out. I think in real life there was a story going around that he was having some kind of Canadian visa issue, so that's interesting. He's come back. He's got his title match.
Working a construction job.
Yeah. Yep. But no, the week before, and for anybody that cares to hear what I'm saying right now, this is probably going to go out Thursday morning, so obviously I'm not watching this week's episode of Impact, so anything that changes, I should say, between now and then is obviously going to affect the Friday show. We won't be able to talk about because I'm recording it early because there's a few events to preview this week. I'm sorry. But no, in the weeks before, he went to Josh Alexander's house and, you know, spoke to his kids and spoke to his wife, and Josh Alexander was at the show and he was losing his shit, and then he did this thing at Destiny. He came out at the end of the night after the match was over to announce that he won't be at the next Destiny show because he'll be busy getting the Impact title, and that's when Moose speared Jade. And I will say, to her credit, I don't know I've never actually asked if she's a wrestler herself or whether she's just another personality within the industry, but she took the spear like a champ.
Right.
Like he didn't. He didn't. How can I say? He didn't girl the spear. For like if you were doing a story where like somebody's valet got taken out or something, you might hold it back a little bit or whatever.
No, he didn't hold back.
I showed you the video. He didn't hold it back at all. So this will be a really interesting thing. And Josh Alexander and Jonah went at it and sort of had a like, let's see who's the biggest dog in the yard type thing. Like there wasn't a huge feud, but it was like two big macho egos in the same place, you know, who's going to come out on top. And Moose has kind of sort of not sided with Honor No More, but he's kind of like, it's not my business. If they come in and fuck up Impact, I'm not going to get involved. So he's sort of like on their side by inaction. So him and PCO as a tag team sort of makes sense. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if this one goes to a no contest, honestly. Like, these four guys just brawl into the crowd and beat the shit out of each other. I don't know what kind of venue this is in either. I don't know where the WrestleCon is happening, so I don't know whether it's in like a bingo hall type venue. I don't know whether it's in a gym type venue. I have no idea. But if they sort of go through the crowd, or if they brawl through like other people that have like autograph areas or something and it just gets thrown out, that wouldn't really surprise me. At the same time, I wouldn't mind watching Jonah and Moose hook up for a little bit. And Josh Alexander versus PCO is another match that I saw at Destiny. Check it off the bucket list. I don't know. I don't really like. I like Jonah and I like Josh Alexander, and PCO's.
So what you're saying is at some point, Destiny's just going to start booking Impact.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. The show that I was at on Saturday is actually going to be available on the Fight app at some point.
Okay.
I don't think it's up there yet. But the commentators for the night were Santino Marella and Scott D'Amore.
Oh, nice.
And the thing is, I should say Anthony Corelli, but Santino Marella. He's stepped in the odd time and done a bit of commentary on Impact, and he's not bad at all. Like, I wouldn't mind him being like a permanent commentary fixture there if they decided to go that way, along with Tom Hannafin and Matthew Raywalt. But yeah, so the ties between the two companies are definitely there. Like the second time I saw Speedball versus Josh Alexander was when Scott D'Amore came in after the match was over to give Speedball his Impact contract and in the Destiny ring. So like the connection is definitely there. But yeah, like, to see some of the stuff either at Destiny happen in Impact or vice versa is a lot of fun, and the interplay between the two is a lot of fun. The next one is the Impact Knockouts Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way. I really don't have much to say about this one. The Influence are the champions. Right now, they're taking on Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans, who I'm on. Giselle Shaw and Lady Frost. I like Lady Frost. She's basically female Sub-Zero, and it's a lot of fun. But the last team involved in the match is Decay, so by default, I'm going to go with Decay because they're way more fun.
Right, exactly, because, I mean, they're Decay.
And their entrance is awesome. Like, as far as Impact goes, specifically, I think they have the best entrance. I would love to see their entrance, and, I mean, the weekend that's coming up, it's kind of appropriate. I would love to see DK's entrance at WrestleMania. But I don't necessarily want them to go to WWE, so that's not going to happen unless your name is Mickie James. Moving on. If the Influence retain, and they continue their rivalry with the Inspiration, that won't hurt my feelings either. I mean, Tenille Dashwood and Madison Rayne are pretty good, obnoxious champions. Tasha Steelz is the bad half of a tag team that I was just starting to like before Kiera Hogan left. And I think Giselle Shaw and Lady Frost are just a thrown-together team. So keep the championships where they are or put them back on Decay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You like Decay. Decay's good. You got to see Decay.
I got to see Decay enter. It was great.
And because you obviously, because you were there in person, you saw the kickoff that I actually missed. Was it Black Taurus or was it Crazy Steve on the kickoff?
No, Black Taurus was on the main card.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yes.
Giant El Torito?
Kickoff was shit. Fuck, I don't even remember anymore.
It was Trey Miguel versus somebody, wasn't it?
Yes. It was the X Division shit. Trey Miguel versus...
Oh, was it Jake something?
No, Jake something won that match.
The contenders match.
Yeah, number one contender match.
How much of a big fucker is Jake something?
God, the dude's huge. Jake something will be Jake somebody one day.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go to something that is really, really fun for me, because I'm a terrible person, and I like seeing Mickie James take the radio silence from Matt Cardona. We've got Nick Aldis and Mickie James representing NWA versus Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green representing Impact. This all happened out of the sort of friendship, sort of mentorship that was going on between Mickie James and Chelsea Green. The whole idea was because Mickie James respected Chelsea Green, she wanted to give her a shot at her championship and have like a good like sportsman type match.
Yeah.
And every time they tried to have a match, somebody got involved. For the most part, I think it was Tasha Steelz, maybe Savannah Evans a little bit, and a couple of other people. And so Chelsea Green just sat and waited for her title shot, tried to be a good friend to Mickie James, and Mickie James kept on saying, like, don't come and help me, I gotta handle my own shit. So Mickie James, last week on Impact, they were in the old ECW arena, and she was getting her ass kicked 2-on-1 by Tasha Steelz and Savannah Evans, and Chelsea Green comes out like she's going to make the save with a chair. Instead, she just sits there on the chair and watches Mickie James get the shit kicked out of her, and then her boy, Matt Cardona, comes in at the very last minute and hits the radio silence on Mickie James, and it was hilarious. I'm really bummed out because I usually end up watching Impact the next day. Like it happens on Thursday, but I don't get the channel here, so I just watch it on Watch Wrestling 24 the next day as a recording. But somebody already spoiled it for me on Instagram. All I saw was like Matt Cardona in midair giving her the radio, which is basically the big leg lariat thing, right?
Yeah.
And I saw it and it was frozen in midair. I'm like, I almost pulled a like, is this real thing? Because Matt Cardona already has a feud with one female title holder in Impact in
yes, with Jordan Gracie.
Because he has her title right now, the social media championship, and I'm just like, if they do a whole thing where Matt Cardona just goes around beating up women, it'll be terrible, but I'll also laugh. So then we're bringing in Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis, who I haven't seen. I mean, I saw him wrestle some blonde dude at All In, but before that, I hadn't seen him since he was Brutus Magnus in TNA. So he's going to be there. He's going to do the thing with the wifey there. And I hope Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green just come out and are huge bitches and pull every underhanded trick in the book and destroy them, because I don't care about Nick Aldis, and Mickie James is annoying. Mickie James
with you on that one.
Mickie James is pulling a Stephanie McMahon and acting like she created women's wrestling.
I mean, didn't she not?
Stephanie,
Are you not sports entertained?
Oh my God.
I don't want to talk about the Judas Appreciation Society or the Jericho Appreciation Society, please. I just don't want to. It's too painful.
We got to talk about that later on a different video at a different time.
Yeah.
Sometime after WrestleMania weekend, we are going to do that, like the state of AEW thing. Jericho Appreciation Society's fucking good.
It's good, but it's also like, oh God, why? I hate it all at the same time, but it's just them being good heels.
We are the Jericho Appreciation Society, and we beat up pro wrestlers.
We are sports entertainers. Oh my God! And the worst part is, I know this is Chris. All this is fucking Chris.
Oh, of course it is, but it's great though.
Yeah.
It's like Jericho can, like, okay, I'm sorry, we're gonna deride from this for a second. Jericho can do whatever the fuck he wants, but Daniel Garcia, who's like the most pro wrestler ever, grabbing the mic and saying, "If you're all pro, sports entertainers, I guess I'm a sports entertainer too." And I'm like, but you're not, though.
No.
Like, at all. And he gave them all their real names, because it's just Jericho Appreciation Society. We don't need Mark names here. We don't need kayfabe names here. I'm like, yep, okay, Chris Irving, calm down.
Yeah, I'm about to say, Chris Irvine. Whatever the fuck it is.
So fucking good, though. What was it? Somebody had said if they had renamed it just a little bit differently, like if they had done the Jericho Undisputed Demo God Appreciation Society, the name of the group literally could have been Judas. I'm like, that's so fucking good. They'll do something with that at some point.
Yeah.
Because it's just dumb enough to work in the hands of Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And it's the same in WWE with somebody like a Kevin Owens. Like, it's almost better when they get bad material, because they make it so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, everything Kevin Owens is doing right now, and this isn't a WrestleMania podcast, but everything Kevin Owens is doing right now leading up to the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing at WrestleMania is just, like, him coming out in the bald cap and doing the what's and all that. It's all good. Despite the fact that I just saw him in Toronto and he was fully, like, babyface for the night.
Yeah, because he's in Canada.
Yeah. And he was with Trish Stratus.
Yeah,
and the KO show became the TKO show. Don't even worry about it. And Trish Stratus beat the hell out of Becky Lynch too, so that was also a thing.
Oh Lord! All right.
Okay, so you got to teach me some stuff now.
Okay.
Guapo.
Yes.
Who the fuck are the Briscoe brothers?
The Briscoe brothers are two fucking dudes who looks like they just crawled out of a swamp somewhere, and they know how to only kick ass. That's it.
All right, and they're facing the Good Brothers, and this is just going to be a brawl.
They're facing the Good Brothers. You know what that means, right?
Yeah.
Time to crack a beer, take off your pants, listen to the worst podcast ever.
Sorry to inform you, I will not be taking off my pants.
Too late, mine are already off.
So I'm assuming you get these two in the ring together. Are they... Briscoe brothers, are they ROH Tag Team Champions at the current moment?
That I don't know. I don't think they are.
Okay, because the match we're going to talk about later when we talk about Supercard of Honor is listed as being for the ROH titles. So I'm going to need some clarification on that. Yeah, but because if you throw titles into the mix, it sort of changes what your predictions can be a little bit.
They are the current title ROH title holders.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough then. That makes more sense when we get to what we're going to talk about later. But I can assume from this that we're just going to see these four guys kick the shit out of each other for a while.
Yes.
And with the fact that ROH has been on the shelf for a little bit, and maybe they want to get a little bit of shine going into the other show. Maybe the Briscoes go over here. Good Brothers are in that fun spot where losing doesn't hurt them.
The Good Brothers can lose here, and it's not going to hurt them at all. Especially since the Briscoes, they're kind of in a limbo right now because I hate to say it, like this. But because we live in a politically socialized continent and everything has to be PC,
because we live in a society.
The Briscoes said some unflattering things a few years ago on Twitter or something like that, and because of that,
AEW can't hire them.
Correct. Which is stupid because everybody likes the Briscoes.
Now, I will say,
every locker room likes them.
I mean, I won't speak for you. Obviously, this is one of those things where I definitely have to step aside and say I'm only speaking for myself. But like, I don't know what they said, so I can't say whether it was terrible or whether it was just, you know, something taken in the wrong direction or whatever. If they said something terrible, I'm not obviously going to stand up here and support that. You know, Chris Rock, different story. But at the same time, cancel culture is bullshit. Like, it is what it is. If these guys are as good as I've heard they are from people, they might have said something mean on Twitter, is not a good reason to steal somebody's whole career away.
Yeah.
Now, physically going up and assaulting somebody in the middle of an award show, that's a different story. Ask me what I think about Will Smith and Chris Rock. I dare you. I'll
pass.
I'm genuinely excited because I've heard a lot about the Briscoes. Like, I come to you and I say, tell me about the Briscoes, but I've heard enough about them that I'm intrigued, and it's one of those, like, hey, here's a brand new name to me that I know the Good Brothers, and the Good Brothers, I think you and I had this conversation last time, the Good Brothers are a good set of guys to already know when you're paying attention to somebody that you're seeing for the first time. Like, they're a good other set of hands in the ring for that. So I'm looking forward to it in that respect, and in that respect, give them a win, sure. Especially if they're carrying the gold for the company that's just trying to get back up on their feet.
Correct.
Yeah, give the Briscoes the win on this one.
I'm okay with that. It doesn't hurt the Good Brothers at all.
Now, here is where it gets interesting. This is one of my most favorite things in Impact right now. Deonna Purrazzo.
Athena.
Yeah, probably.
That's it.
Deonna Purrazzo, though, is, and I'm going across Impact, AEW, WWE, Deonna Purrazzo is one of the most intriguing female wrestlers to me right now. Because she got robbed of the championship of the title of the company that she actually works in by Mickie James because of reasons. And now she's carrying the gold for AAA and for ROH, which is, again, going to get very interesting when we talk about Supercard. But she's doing the Champ Challenge, where somebody comes out and not only challenges her, but also chooses which belt they're challenging for. Now, as we've said at the beginning, and you've already hit on part of it, there's two free agents in particular that are going to be at WrestleCon. And both of them have been rumored to be the one that's answering this challenge. One of them is Athena, formerly Ember Moon, for those of you that don't know. The other one is Mia Yim, who has a history with Impact. So I'd be happy with either one of them. I'm pretty sure, considering there's an ROH show happening the same night, and there's other things happening there that we're going to talk about in a second, I'm pretty sure whoever comes out to challenge her on this particular night is going to go for the AAA title. And I think they're going to sort of leave the ROH title where it is for the moment, just while the cards settle a little bit. But, I mean, Deonna Purrazzo versus Athena, Deonna Purrazzo versus Mia Yim. The other one that's kicking around, who's not in the country right now because of, I think, don't quote me, this is only rumor mill shit, because of visa issues and whatnot, is Nixon Newell, the former Tegan Nox, which is really unfortunate because that Deonna Purrazzo versus Tegan Nox would be a hell of a match. And the wild card that I'll throw out there, just because I personally think it would be great, would be fucking Toni Storm.
Yeah.
But she's also busy on OnlyFans, which is fine.
Hey, making that money.
Oh, I don't blame her. Look at her.
Get that bag.
Look at her. Secure your bag, young lady. I don't think there's going to be a title change here, but I do think they have the opportunity, just because of the type of event that it's set at. You have the opportunity to create some cool, unique, surprise type scenarios. Athena's top of the list. Wild card for me personally would be Toni Storm. Mia Yim is another name that's just kind of there that I'd be like, it wouldn't set the world on fire, but I'd be like, all right, that's cool. I like Mia Yim. There's a connection between her and Impact. It would make sense for her to show up on an Impact show. I just hope they don't pick somebody already on the roster that's just, you know what they say, like sort of rattling around in the back and catering. Because if it's a surprise, especially on a pay-per-view, it should be a surprise. But I think Deonna Purrazzo walks in the champ and walks out the champ. Now, there are 2 matches over the whole of WrestleMania weekend that I think could steal the show. One of them is the ladder match that's happening at the NXT show.
Yes.
That's going to be even though NXT is really goofy, the ladder match is going to be really fucking good. And that's Carmelo Hayes defending his title against 4 or 5 other people. The other is the intergender Ultimate X match for the Impact X Division Championship. Trey Miguel, Chris Bay, Jordan Grace, Rich Swann, Vincent, Willie Mack.
Just real quick, the ladder match for NXT, the only person in that match that looks like he's like by himself and really sad is Roderick Strong.
He's not in the match.
Is he not?
No. Well, when I sent you my card for all the stuff,
Yes.
A-Kid, Cameron Grimes, and Roderick Strong had a triple threat match tonight, and it was won by Cameron Grimes.
Oh.
But I mean, like characters aside, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, Santos Escobar, Solo Sikoa, and Cameron Grimes are going to put on a hell of a match.
Yeah.
It's probably that match and the Ultimate X match are low-key. I mean, other than the spectacle of WrestleMania, they're low-key 2 of the matches I'm looking forward to most over the course of the whole weekend. I love the Ultimate X. I like the fact that Jordan Grace was in the first Women's Ultimate X and sort of fell short there, so she's now doing another Ultimate X with the men for another championship, seeing as Matt Cardona has her championship. There's a cool story to tell there. Rich Swann and Willie Mack are doing more tag team stuff than individual stuff right now. Vincent is in there, I think, just as a representative of the Honor No More story that's going on. Chris Bay is there to remind us that the Bullet Club is a thing, and Trey Miguel's the current champion. You could take everybody else out of this match. I'm not going to lie, and this is me being incredibly biased. You could take everybody else out of this match and just have an Ultimate X match between Trey Miguel and Jordan Grace, and I'd be a happy guy.
Yes.
Something about it, because it is sort of more of an exhibition-style pay-per-view, like it's Impact's version of a B pay-per-view, kind of, and I don't think they're going to do something super insane. I'm pretty sure that Trey Miguel is going to...
I mean, I technically went to a B pay-per-view, and it was still great.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't mean in quality. I just don't mean...
No, not just quality. Like, I mean, shit, they did some crazy shit in the show.
Oh,
they
yeah, no, for sure.
Imploded. They, Gorillas of Destiny got jumped by Bullet Club.
And then got excommunicated from Bullet Club.
Exactly. Like,
a lot of shit going on. A lot of shit going on.
My brain was fucking blown, and it wasn't just from the 4 or 5 Bud Lights I had drinking.
4 or 5?
I mean, there was more.
But like...
Insert the picture here.
I think if they were going to do something cool, like Jordan Grace walking in, representing the women's division in a men's Ultimate X match, and walking out with what I believe would be the first ever women's X Division champion. I think with Rebellion right around the corner, if they were going to do it, they would do it there. Like if they were going to have that big of a history-making moment.
I mean, they could do it and then tell her to go option C at the next big show.
They could, but already the World Championship match for Rebellion is set.
Option C.
It's true. It's true.
Let her go into it.
Or option C after the match is over. We get Jordan Grace versus Josh Alexander at a upcoming pay-per-view.
Or just option C, cash it in there, and
oh my god,
beat him and let him lose it again.
Oh, I didn't even put that together. That's a great shout. And then you get to make Josh Alexander look like a dickhead because now he's complaining that he got robbed by a woman.
Yes.
Not that okay, before people freak out, not that there's anything wrong with that. One of the things
No. I mean, Jordan Gracie is a fucking beast.
She's a machine. And the one thing I will say about Impact that sets it aside from AEW, from WWE, from NXT, from everybody else, is they're actually putting intergender wrestling on television.
Yeah.
And nobody else really has the balls to do that, right? And I mean, I have to caveat this. I'm talking about mainstream televised North American wrestling when I say that, because WWE doesn't do it, AEW doesn't do it, NXT doesn't do it. I don't know if ROH does it, because this will be the first ROH pay-per-view I'm ever checking out this coming Friday.
ROH does do it.
Okay, fair enough then. So they're one of the two that does it.
Yes.
I also kind of hope that if they were going to give her a moment like that they would put it on the bigger pay-per-view. Not to say that this, like, we should totally overlook this show, because it does look like a hell of a show, but it is kind of a we're grabbing everybody from everywhere exhibition type of show. I love that. Like, the whole, like, multiverse of matches idea is awesome, but a proper, like, on actual paper, because I think this is only on Fight and on Impact Plus. I don't think this is on actual pay-per-view. So
Probably.
I hope something awesome comes along for Jordan Grace soon, because she deserves it. I think they should do with her the same that they did with the whole rivalry between Tessa Blanchard and Sami Callihan. Like, find her a good opponent to fight over the world title with, and let her go with it. But again, I wouldn't do that here necessarily.
Right.
Match is going to be awesome regardless. I mean, Willie Mack is scary. Vincent, I haven't seen that much of. Rich Swann is an X Division guy, which is great. Chris Bay,
so good.
He is, and I could maybe see them putting it on Chris Bay as a way of, like, oh, the Bullet Club is building momentum. But again, if that was the case, I would rather it be, like, the same thing I said with Jordan Grace, I would rather have that be, like, Chris Bay defeats Trey Miguel one-on-one in some ridiculous match. I don't know. I'm going to go with Trey Miguel retains. If he doesn't retain, I'd love a really cool moment for Chris Bay or Jordan Grace.
Chris Bay or Rick Swann?
Rich Swann...
Yeah.
I wouldn't be I don't have anything against Rich Swann.
No. Chris Bay or Vincent.
Okay. I was going to say, because Rich Swann has already been a world champion. It's kind of like it would be kind of like putting the IC championship on John Cena. If that makes any sense. But also he's more so doing, like, tag and faction stuff right now. Like, he's more so representing the company, brother, than going for personal achievement. Right now seems to be his direction. It wouldn't hurt my feelings. I wouldn't begrudge the guy a title run. Don't get me wrong, but there are other options here that provide a lot more creative, like, branches. There's a small part of me that wants Trey Miguel to come to NXT and rejoin his buddies, but we don't need to worry about that right now. So that is the multiverse of matches, and I will say to Impact, who are definitely not listening, but I'm going to say it anyway. Please choose a better name for your pay-per-view next time, because every time I tried to find a card for this show, it took me to a Marvel website. And I know that's what they were doing. I know that's the whole point, but it sort of becomes pointless when it drives people away. Now, also happening on Friday, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor.
That is right. The newly acquired by AEW's Con Man, TK.
Before we get into Big TK, we do have to talk about Cody.
Who?
Cody.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah, the turncoat.
Cody does not exist in my life anymore. He is written off. He is no good.
Yeah. He quote unquote left AEW, right? It's a work. But let's pretend it's not a work, and that he's going to be Seth Rollins' mystery opponent at WrestleMania, as chosen by Vince McMahon. It's weird, right?
It's just...
Like, there's so many weird angles to look at this
It goes against everything Cody has said. Everything.
Yep.
Piece of shit.
See, there's a weird part, like, the weird, like, competitive, like, I still want to believe that the old good NXT can come back. Like, that part of me wants to be like, fuck that dickhead, right?
Right.
But the more logical part of me is like, if this is true, like, yes, Cody Rhodes is a good wrestler. I've never denied that he's a good
absolutely.
wrestler. Him and Seth Rollins will have a fantastic WrestleMania-worthy match. I don't have any problem with that in theory, right?
Excuse me. Sorry. Yes.
In theory. On the other side of the coin, though, if this is true, I can't respect anybody involved.
No, I can't.
I can't. Because on the one hand, you've got Cody, who left WWE, went around the indies with two wrappings on his head, one of them being I'm Dusty's kid / Goldust's brother, the other one being you can get a good name out of me if you put me on your indie show because I'm an ex-WWE guy, who parlayed that into his own company, which was basically sold on come watch us, we're not WWE. And then it was sold on come watch us, you can watch us make fun of WWE. And now he's going to go back. So he's full of shit. Because it can't be that bad if you're going back, or you sold out. Those are the two options there. But also, if WWE are welcoming him back, then they're basically bending over and taking it up the tailpipe, which I don't respect either.
The only thing that I think redeems Cody, at least for me, is if somehow out of this, if he does go back to WWE, is if Seth goes out there, I'm like, okay, I'm ready for my opponent. And we then get the whole wrestling has more than one royal family and get his, like, AEW theme music type shit and everything playing.
Oh, apparently that's exactly what they're doing.
I'm okay with that. Like,
but everything I just said still stands, though.
Yeah,
like, you talked a bunch of shit and went back, so you're full of crap, and you're spewing...
Only thing that redeems it, though, is if he's the one that ends up taking that title off Roman. Like, they need to hot shot his ass to the title and put him as the biggest fucking babyface, the prodigal son return, coming back to beat Roman for the title at the whatever the next pay-per-view, or build it for SummerSlam. But he's in the main event.
You know what I want? I want Rollins to stand in the middle of that ring waiting for the announcement of his mystery opponent. I want all the pomp and circumstance. I want him to have the exact same elevator that brings him up the center of the ramp because he doesn't believe in baby faces and heels. I want his shitty pyro. I want his shitty neck tattoo to glow in 27 colors. I want him to come out with the stupid I'm Captain America but in a sport coat fucking ring jacket.
Hold on. Time out. Have you watched Amazon's The Boys?
Yes. Homelander.
He is fucking Homelander.
Yeah, I know. But he's Homelander in a sparkly sports coat, though. It's weird.
Are you fully prepared for the giant CGI graphic of the neck tattoo?
Oh, yes. I want all of that. I want all the pomp and circumstance. I want him to soak it all up. I hope the WrestleMania ramp is the longest ramp in the history of WrestleMania ramps. I want him to have a coronary walking to the ring, but then he gets revived and he goes the rest of the way. I want him to soak up all the music. I want the fans to fucking, cheer their lungs out. I want Michael Sidgwick over across the pond jerking his fucking cock out of his pants. I want him to step in the ring. I want the bell to ring. I want Seth Rollins to kick him in the nuts, and in less than 10 seconds, the match ends in disqualification, and Seth Rollins says, go fuck yourself. This is the WWE.
I'm okay with that, too.
Yes, 100%. Mostly because fuck Sidgwick. But yeah, it's weird. So now we can transition from that to Sweet TK, the super rich guy that's everybody's buddy, just buying another toy to put in his toy box called ROH. Thoughts on this?
I'm okay with it.
Because I don't know anything about ROH, so I'm not the one that should speak about it being bought.
I'm okay with it because the main reason of Tony Khan buying it, the rumor is that he bought it for the streaming rights of all of the video library.
Okay.
So, and then there's a huge rumor, I don't know how this is going to affect you in the Great White North of Canada, but there's a huge rumor of TK partnering with HBO Max to put the ROH and AEW streaming services and video library on there.
I mean, it could help us or it could not. Like, most of the stuff that you guys get through HBO Max, I get on the HBO tab of my Crave account.
Mm-hmm.
The only
I
thing
don't know what Crave is, but okay.
Well, Crave is just, it's another Netflix, basically.
Gotcha.
But but like within Crave, you can add these extra layers to it. Like, you can add Stars, you can add HBO, you can add XYZ. Like, I got Crave for two reasons. Basically, I got Crave because the Snyder Cut was coming out. Right. And I got Crave because I finally gave in and started watching Game of Thrones.
How far are you into it?
Oh, I've done it now. Like, I've had Crave for a while.
We're gonna have to have a separate podcast for just
for Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've watched it beginning to end like 3 times.
That's so good. Except for the last season, but the last like 3 episodes. But never mind.
I mean, one person of color gets killed and then a whole city burns. It hits a little too close to home, man. I don't know whether I can talk about it or not. Anyway. It's okay. So funny.
Bye, Spaz. I'm out.
Guapo's no longer associated with the Spaz Phoenix podcast. We wish him well in his future endeavors.
Don't you fucking future endeavor me, bitch.
Okay, you gotta understand, like, the first time I got to the end of that last season, it was in the middle of 2020.
Okay.
So it was very apropos at the time.
Yeah.
Burning cities were the in thing. Anyways, but yeah, no, the only thing we don't...
Supercard of Honor, damn it.
What?
Supercard of Honor.
No, but you were just saying about the thing. The only thing that you guys get on... because when COVID shut everything down, there weren't any theaters, and all the streaming services started doing like day and date releases for all the movies on their theater release date. We weren't part of that, but other than that, I don't think there's very much that we get on our HBO tab on Crave that you wouldn't get on HBO Max.
Gotcha.
Anyway, so it might help me, it might not, but I'm more like to watch what's current than go backwards into a library anyway. So.
See, the only thing I would love it for would be, like, the ROH library, because there's so many ROH shows, like, different things, like, that I reference that you don't get because you never watched it, like, fucking Ladder Wars.
Was that the package pile driver through the ladder?
Yes.
Okay, but I've seen that, because enough people have sent me that clip.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
But there's a lot of different things, like, from the ROH library that are so good. Like, it's worth to go back to rewatch certain stuff.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Like, I'm not putting it down, but, like, I'll say again, shout out to Good Mike Work. Like, once a week he does a watch along of an old pay-per-view, just like reminiscing and all that sort of thing, which I think is really cool. Because, hop in, join the conversation, etc. Also, if you're not subscribed to Good Mike Work, go and watch his AEW Dynamite watch-alongs, because they're really fun. But I don't go back nearly as much as most people do. Like, I'm very much push forward. Show me absolutely everything that's happening right now. Like, I'm going to be channel hopping all of Friday night between SmackDown, Rampage, the Hall of Fame, Supercard, Multiverse of matches. Like, I'll be soaking in everything that's happening in that minute, but I don't go back, and I have, but I mean, I don't go back and watch like WrestleMania 18 just because I happen to be there and see Rock and Hogan live in Toronto. I don't do it as much as other people do. So getting me access to what's happening currently would help me much more than what's happened in the past. Like, if somebody came to me tomorrow and said that they had a direct live stream for the Impact stuff that I miss every week and have to watch the next day, that would be more valuable to me than to say, hey, do you see this Impact pay-per-view from 2005? Although I will say, Impact are putting like whole pay-per-views, like from their library, they're putting whole pay-per-views on their free YouTube channel now.
Okay, cool.
They just put up one, obviously with Scott Hall passing away, they put up one where he was in the main event, but it's the whole show. And it's not like click here, watch a preview, and then order the show. Like, it's the whole show, which I think is really cool. Anyways, but yeah, sorry, you were saying about TK buying ROH. Other than the library, moving forward with ROH, like, I hate to say this because,
the rumor is that they're going to turn ROH more or less into AEW's essentially like
Their
NXT, their developmental program, to where the people who need a little more fine tuning, that aren't fully ready for Dynamite or let alone Dark really, to go to ROH, or they're going to turn Dark into ROH.
See, that would make more sense. Like, if that's gonna be the function, because that was the function of Dark and Dark Elevation, kind of, right? Was sort of like the people that weren't really getting a lot of TV time, or the people that hadn't quite like worked their way up as far as their abilities. Like, I would say, I know the guys that made AEW made their name on YouTube and on podcasts and whatever, but I think ditch the YouTube shows. Throw out a third show, if you're going to call it ROH, if you're going to call it something else, whatever, throw out a third show and not two endless, like, YouTube streams. Because the YouTube, I don't watch them. Like, you and I have had that conversation before. Like, I've done the whole joke and I've driven it into the ground now, but like a wrestling company shouldn't give you homework, right?
Right.
But if there's a third show, I'll watch a third show, or at least I'll give it a little bit of an eyeball. Like, I still eyeball Rampage every week. I don't watch it religiously because it does kind of feel throwaway most of the time.
Yeah.
But it's a show. It's on TV. I will watch it. I will give it a shot, and I'll make a decision about it. If it's just a stream of, like, here's a bunch of people that didn't make it onto the actual show. Like, that gives it a whole other connotation. You know what I mean? So if they ditch the YouTube shows and throw the ROH show out there as a replacement for that, to me personally, I know people don't agree. I think that would be the better way to go.
I agree.
But also, there's going to be fans that are not necessarily AEW fans, that are just ROH fans waiting for ROH to come back, that are going to think like, hey, you took this thing that I like, and now you've basically turned it into a wrestling school. So
yes, but also the ROH fans will still... the ROH fans are very hardcore. However, the fact is, it's either going to become essentially a developmental territory, or it was going to go away altogether.
Hey, maybe one day ROH and AEW can battle for brand supremacy.
No, that'll never happen. However, I do think, though, this was a very tactical thing by Tony. There's been different reports that about like 4 or 5 years ago, Triple H actually tried to acquire ROH's streaming, their video library and everything, and then WWE has tried a few times as well. But I can't remember his name, but the guy who was the main majority owner of it had turned them both down.
Okay.
Because he didn't feel like they were going to use it properly. So
I don't know. That's kind of unfortunate when you consider how many ex-ROH people are either in WWE now or at least were at some point.
Yes, however, how many things can you think of that WWE has censored in a way on their network / Peacock now?
I mean, I don't have Peacock up here. I just have the regular WWE network. Only you guys got the Peacock.
Yes, we're the ones down here in the States. We have the cock. The cock streaming service, I have it. I bought it strictly for Rumble, and I have not gotten rid of it, only strictly because they actually have other content on there that's like halfway decent. Yeah. Me and Mrs. Guapo binged all the Karate Kid movies a couple weeks ago, just because we had nothing else to do, and I was watching Cobra Kai. She was like, I don't get it. I'm like, wait, have you ever seen the Karate Kid movies? She's like, I think I did, but I don't really remember. I'm like, well, we're watching Karate Kid. And now we just finished Cobra Kai.
Nice.
Yeah.
So WWE kind of kept you because they're on a service that has more than just WWE.
Correct. I'm looking at it now as I have a service that has content on it that I care about, that just so happens to be have WWE on it. And I can honestly say I haven't watched anything on their WWE besides Rumble. And then a couple weeks ago, I was watching ECW One Night Stand just because I was bored and I needed something on in the background.
I think it was somewhere in Indonesia they actually added WWE as a tab on their Disney Plus. Because I guess they didn't have the Peacock out there. And
I mean, there's been rumors that Disney is going to buy WWE, so...
Hey man, if I have Disney Plus, so if they consolidate, that's one less streaming service that I have to pay for.
Exactly what I'm thinking as well.
All right, so let's get into this card now that we've schlammered around for a while. Josh Woods versus Wheeler Yuta for the ROH Pure Championship. Now,
Woods is going to win it.
Okay, I don't know anything about Josh Woods, so I'm going to ask you about Josh Woods in a minute. I got my education on the Pure rules when Jonathan Gresham came and did some matches with Steve Macklin in Impact. They seem like additionally complicated for no real reason.
Yes, they are.
Okay, fair enough. And he's taking on Wheeler Yuta. And yes. I think it's kind of interesting right now because you got Wheeler Yuta on AEW, who's in this weird, like, hey, I'm part of the Best Friends and I'm part of Chaos, but I'm also thinking about joining the Blackpool Combat Club. So there's a little bit of me that's like, Wheeler Yuta's the one that I know in the match, but also what version of Wheeler Yuta are we getting in this match?
I think we're going to end up getting a Chaos version. Because he is a part of Chaos and New Japan. And New Japan and ROH work together.
Okay, fair enough. I will think it's interesting if he joins up with Moxley and Danielson and William fucking Regal.
That would be amazing, but I don't see it.
Because that's a terrifying group of people right there.
God, yes. Blackpool
Combat Club.
Combat Club, God.
Yeah. I mean, it's a conversation for another day, but like it's just funny because Wheeler Yuta, to me, is associated with the Best Friends, which is sort of like this wacky group. So he's like the one in the wacky group that's not that wacky. So he's like, to me, he comes off as like, okay, the straight man in a comedy. If that makes any sense, because I don't know it from the Chaos angle.
Well, he I want to say just on this past week's Dynamite, he left Best Friends.
Did he, or did he just have the face-off with... Which one's the one he has the problem with? He has a problem with Trent, right?
Yes, he don't like Trent, and Trent doesn't like him. But I'm pretty sure he's out of the Best Friends now.
All right. But you know what I mean, though? Like, even when he was in, like, you got a bunch of wacky characters, and he's not that wacky. So, like, to have him be the straight man in a comedy group, whereas he can just go kick ass with other people that kick ass... It's like, okay, here's where I maybe should have been all along. So maybe he goes in there and they play it out like, okay, he went in there with something to prove, like he's proven himself to Regal or whatever story they're going to try and play along. Because I don't know how much, what happens in ROH, like how much of that is going to be acknowledged on AEW and vice versa, or are they treating them like two separate worlds, or...
I think that everybody's self-aware of everything.
Okay.
Unless it's in WWE. Because, WWE doesn't believe anybody exists outside of their four walls.
I mean, that's not true. They helped out Evolve. They even put an Evolve show on their WWE network. And, come on, there's a guy from Raw carrying the NXT Championship. They do all kinds of open doors. I'm actually really enjoying Dolph Ziggler on NXT, which is really bad, but at the same time, it's really good.
Yes. But, anyway, back to the match. Josh Woods is a really good, I want to say he used to be like an amateur wrestler. He was in NXT for a hot minute.
Okay.
But he never did anything past, dark matches / jobber matches.
Okay, so nothing that I would particularly remember as a reference then.
No, I'm looking at his wiki right now. He had matches where he was in battle royals that were won by Breeze and Corbin. Fought against No Way Jose to a losing effort, and then lost.
Oh wow, earlier NXT, Jesus Christ.
And his final match in NXT was a house show on July 23rd where he lost to Mojo Rawley. WWE released him days later. Yeah.
All right, so virtually unknown to me.
Completely unknown to you, yes.
So, okay, you know what types of things I'm familiar with then. Anybody you could compare him to, like, stylistically?
Stylistically, to be honest, I haven't seen enough of his matches to have an imprint of, like, his style,
like,
really.
What's his thing?
I want to say his thing is more like actual wrestling type shit.
Oh, like amateur wrestling?
Yeah, amateur wrestling type shit, if I remember right. But it's been a minute since I've seen him do any work.
All right, so I'm going to default to Wheeler Yuta as the one I know. I'm going to cast a vote for him. You think Josh Woods is going to be... Because Wheeler Yuta, even though it's an ROH card and they're owned by the same guy now, Wheeler Yuta is still an AEW guy.
Correct. But I think Woods is going to come out with it because I don't see Yuta taking the pure title.
And like, bringing it to AEW.
Unless they do that to where he could... and let him walk into the Blackpool Combat Club saying, look, I just went and won this off of this chump. Is this good enough for you, Sir Regal?
See, I could see the storyline value of that, but I don't think a company that's just getting back on its... And I'm saying this respectfully, right? But a company that's just getting back up on its feet to be immediately used as a prop for an AEW story might not come off so well.
Correct.
All right. Speaking of titles and champions that aren't really there because they're fighting at another show down the road, we are having a match to determine the interim ROH Women's Championship. The winner of this match to face Deonna Purrazzo at a later date, considering she doesn't lose the ROH title to somebody else at Multiverse of Matches, which probably won't happen. It's Mercedes Martinez, who's another AEW person, taking on Willow, who I don't have any clue about. But I really would like to see Mercedes Martinez versus Deonna Purrazzo, so immediately my bias is going to swing that way.
Yes.
It's another sense of, like, you know, you're just starting the company up again, so the first thing we're going to do is establish a temporary title, and it's the only women's match on the card. So that's something they're going to have to work their way around. But if it gets us to Martinez versus Deonna Purrazzo, I'm all in for that.
I don't think I've seen Willow before.
I mean, and I don't think it's Jeff Hardy in a mask, so...
No. I'm looking at pictures. No, I haven't seen her wrestle before.
Okay, so virtual unknown to both of us versus Mercedes Martinez for the right to probably get owned by Deonna Purrazzo. Now, if Willow is an actual ROH star, then it would make more sense for her to beat Mercedes Martinez, and unfortunately, it would make more sense for her to beat Deonna Purrazzo, so you can put the ROH title back on an ROH person.
Yes.
But I don't want to think that it's just as simple as shuffling the paperwork to make it make sense. I want the matches to actually make sense. Now, the immediate previous, what was I going to say? The immediate previous ROH Women's Champion who dropped it to Deonna Purrazzo on Impact is actually signed with NXT now. So the forbidden door is wide open.
Yes.
Anyways, I don't know much about Roxy. I saw her one match that she had with Deonna Purrazzo, and it was fucking great. So hopefully she gets to shine in NXT. Hopefully either just give me a really good match between Mercedes Martinez and Deonna Purrazzo, which would be AEW taking on Impact for the ROH Championship, or if Willow is an actual ROH like signed person. Are they signing people again? Because they released everybody from their contracts, right?
Yes, everybody is released.
So technically nobody is signed to ROH right now.
Correct.
Okay, so that throws everything I just said out the window then, and I'm going to go back to just what I want to see, which is Mercedes Martinez versus Deonna Purrazzo. So I say Mercedes Martinez beats Willow on Friday and faces Deonna Purrazzo at a later date. Yeah. I don't have much else to say. It's hard when you only know half of the match.
You're not wrong.
Swerve Strickland versus Alex Zane. First of all, Alex Zane, saw him in Destiny first before I saw him before he became Ari Sterling in NXT for a hot minute, and now he's out. Swerve Strickland was in NXT, and now he's in AEW kicking all the ass. So
that's right, Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Yeah, except he's Shane Swerve Strickland now.
Well, that's what he was before he was in NXT, but
that's true.
Anyway,
Alex Zane is good for what he is. I mean, he was only in NXT for a hot minute. I saw him at Destiny. Sort of made me think of like really, really early days Jeff Hardy, so that's always going to get my attention. Taking on Swerve Strickland again, it's the whole I don't know who's getting the wins because Strickland is
because it's Swerve's house.
Ring of House. I don't know. I saw a cool, like, somebody did an artist rendering of the ROH logo in the AEW, like, gray and gold color scheme. It actually looked pretty cool. I don't know. I'm not picking a winner on this one. I'm just genuinely looking forward to, like, that looks like it's going to be a cool match on paper. Two more guys that are AEW guys, managed by a third AEW guy. We got Jay Lethal versus Lee Moriarty with Matt Sydal in his corner. I like Jay Lethal. I know a lot of people have a lot of other things to say about him, but...
Oh, I love Jay Lethal, but I think he's going to take the win just because he is the ROH lifer. If it wasn't for what happened with ROH, he would have probably finished with ROH.
Yeah. You saw Dynamite last week?
Yes.
His match with Adam Cole was fucking awesome.
Oh, it was great.
Like, that's no great surprise to anybody, obviously, but
no, absolutely not.
But it you still can't go without saying that match was fucking awesome. That's all I got, really. Lee Moriarty, not gonna lie, I know he's athletic as hell. I know he's quick as hell. He's being, like I said, he's being sided to the ring by Matt Sydal. I don't have anything bad to say.
Sorry.
What the fuck was that?
Stupid thing on my phone just went off.
Sounded like something fell over. Anyways, I don't have anything bad to say about Lee Moriarty. I just don't have anything to say about Lee Moriarty. So, again, my pick is kind of a default, and I'm going to go with Jay Lethal.
Yep, Jay Lethal. Or Black Machismo. Ooh, yeah.
Oh, dear. Okay, so I know there's a story here. You're going to have to tell me what the story is, because, again, you just told me about the Briscoe brothers 5 minutes ago. What is the deal between the Briscoe brothers and FTR?
FTR does not respect the Briscoes, so the Briscoes are not going to respect FTR. They're going to fight, and it's going to be great. Their battle will be glorious, and it's just going to be fun.
FTR is going to lose.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, Briscoes are the ROH champions. We can have the same conversation we've had all day. Like, FTR are AEW guys, and they're not going to take all their titles over to Dynamite. I mean, I'm sure the match will be great. FTR are fantastic. All the rumors that they're newly going to be managed by Bret Hart is awesome, if not a little bit weird. I'm not going to complain about more Bret Hart on my screen. Obviously, he's going to want to be around while they're doing the Owen Hart tournament. But FTR are great. Briscoe brothers I'm going to be seeing for the first time twice in one night between the two shows. I predict logic would dictate that the ROH wrestlers with the ROH titles are going to win on the ROH show. FTR are just going to make a really good accounting of themselves. Oh, what I did mean to say, because they are wrestling just down the road from each other, do you think we see Deonna Purrazzo show up on Supercard, or whoever wins out of Willow and Mercedes Martinez show up at Multiverse of Matches? Because technically Supercard happens first, and then Multiverse of Matches happens later on, so whoever wins could technically show up at Multiverse and be like, hey, Deonna Purrazzo, I'm your next challenger. Do you think we get a crossover between the two shows at all, other than the fact that the Briscoes are fighting on both?
I think we could. That's definitely a possibility.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's, like, the logistics side of it, where it's like, I'm pretty sure the Good Brothers, the Briscoes versus FTR would happen early on the one card so that they could show up later on the second card. Just, give them time, make sure, traffic.
Everybody's good. Yeah.
Traffic and literal transportation between one card and the other happens.
Unless somehow TK gets the helicopter ready.
Oh, Jesus Christ. They get caught in traffic. Everybody's waiting in the arena. Why aren't you here yet? Why aren't you here yet? And yeah, that brings us to the main event, which is apparently a match.
I'm super tired in here. Oh,
yeah, it is, and I'm barely able to read my own notes, which is bad because they're on a screen in front of me. Winner takes all match to determine the undisputed ROH World Champion, because apparently there's two right now.
Yes, because Bandito could not defend his title against Jonathan Gresham. Or was it? Yeah, it was Jonathan Gresham in the last ROH match because Bandito had COVID.
Okay.
And he was the champion. So, to fill in, it was Jonathan Gresham versus Jay Lethal for the title.
Okay, but Bandito was the champion?
Yes.
Okay.
He never technically lost it.
So, a question for you, because I was looking at one of the match graphics earlier. Why are the two belts different?
One's the newer belt.
Okay, the one with the red on it is the newer one?
Yes.
Okay, because I like the look of the other one better, I'm not going to lie. Obviously, I've been seeing Jonathan Gresham for the past little while on Impact. I do think it shouldn't go without saying, what Impact has done in the past little while, sort of playing host to some of the ROH characters, just to keep ROH in the conversation while they were on sabbatical, has been a really cool thing. Now, they've had to sort of dress it up as an invasion angle, and invasion angles have been done a million times, rah. But I think just in terms of, hey, these guys are going on sabbatical, if a couple of them want to keep working and just keep the ROH name out there, why don't we do something on Impact? I think that's a really cool thing.
Yes.
Doing stuff like that leads to an event like Multiverse of Matches that we're getting on Friday, where there's sort of a couple people from, you got some New Japan, you got some Bullet Club, you got Eddie Edwards pretending he's representing Pro Wrestling Noah.
Right.
You've got, Nick Aldis and Mickey James technically representing NWA. But yeah, that starts with something like, hey, we're going to host ROH while ROH isn't quite a thing right now. I think an infinite amount of credit needs to go to Impact for that, because they're not as big as they could be themselves recently. I would love, and I'm not saying that they're going to take on AEW. I'm not going to say they're going to take on WWE or anything like that. I'm not straying into hyperbole. But I would love Impact to have a bigger audience. I would love them to maybe get on a more accessible TV channel. I would, hop in bed with TK and maybe, try to use that connection to maybe get on TBS, TSN, the Score up here in Canada, whatever. But, like I say, I'm looking for torrents of the shows right now, and I really want to. Somebody that only, sort of passively wants to watch the show. If they can't get to it, they won't. I wish they had a bigger audience, but...
Yeah.
But to be in the spot that they're in right now and still be helping another company along, I can't let that go without recognition. But getting back to the match itself, I don't know Bandito. I'm assuming Bandito is a luchador.
Yes, Bandito is a luchador.
Wild stab in the dark.
What gave it away there, huh?
It was the mask. Oh, you know what it is, though? It could be Bandito, or it could be the brand new superstar that was introduced on Monday night. Did you see Lucha Logan?
What the fuck is that?
It's Logan Paul in a Rey Mysterio mask.
Oh my god. And this is why I'm not watching WWE.
But you can't watch WWE and expect it to be good. They still employ Bianca Belair. What do you expect? Anyways, I've been really impressed by what I've seen from Jonathan Gresham in his brief time in Impact, so I'm going to throw my support behind him because, once again, he's the guy that I know. Bandito, I'm assuming, is going with the I never technically lost the title type idea.
Pretty much. However, I will be going for Bandito as I will support Luchadors.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Senor Guapo, who used to show up on my live streams in a mask and drunk, supports the Luchadors. Guys, in the comment down below, let me know how surprised you are right now.
I mean, I'm pretty surprised myself.
Dude, there's a lot of fucking wrestling this week.
There's a fuck ton of wrestling this weekend.
It's Tuesday and I'm tired.
And it all really I hate to say it really kicks off tomorrow.
On Wednesday?
On Wednesday.
Why does it kick off on Wednesday? Wednesday's just Dynamite.
It's Dynamite, and Dynamite starts it all. Because Raw sucks. Nobody cares about 2.0. So yeah.
2.0. I will say, in all fairness, like, NXT now is not black and gold NXT. But it is...
This is not the NXT that I made my wife stop our honeymoon to go watch.
This ain't your grandpa's NXT. But I will say, if you don't call it NXT, this is going to sound really dumb, but I hope people out there get what I mean. If you don't call it NXT and think of it as the old black and gold NXT, it is a fun enough show. Now, notice that I'm saying fun, not necessarily good, but a lot of fun. And Nikita Lyons pinning people with her thick ass.
Don't get me started, please.
Thick ass.
I don't need to send you the screenshots of the group chat.
About what? The group chat?
About that.
Were you having a group chat about Nikita Lyons' ass?
At one point, yes.
Are you Michael Sidgwick? Are you allergic to sex?
No. It's just so much ass.
You know, okay, here's the thing I'm going to say, though, seeing as we're just branching off here and we're just about to be done. I don't know how NXT gets labeled as the weird, off-putting, pervy show when Sammy Guevara, my personal new fucking...
You're fucking going to go there.
My personal new fucking hero is spunking all over the TNT Championship along with Tay Conte. Miro's promos for months were all about how God chose me and that's why I shagged my wife. Naomi, unfortunately, still has a job over on SmackDown and her finisher is still like an ass and cunt to the face. But NXT gets all the gravel and the finger waving just because, you know, Toxic Attraction are awesome and Nikita Lyons' ass is all there.
Yeah.
It's not fair, man. It's totally biased.
Living his best life.
Sammy Guevara is living all of our best lives. Let's just put it that way. all the AEW sexuals are getting upset about it. God. I'm living rent-free in your head, and now I'm living rent-free in your mouth.
I know you don't watch his vlog at all, but the shit that they say on his vlog are fucking great. And how he basically just talks trash back to the haters is fucking amazing.
You know what I hate, though? And, like, okay, we've talked about it enough. I got a lot of respect for Eddie Kingston, right?
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston hitting Twitter and being like, oh, that belt symbolizes, you know, a friend that we all lost and whatever. I'm like, I'm sorry. Brody passed away. Very, very sad. There's been 3 new TNT titles since then.
It's not the same belt.
It's not. His belt was presented to his kid and is held, I'm sure, in the highest regard.
Absolutely.
It's not the same belt that Tay and Sammy are spunking on that
No.
Dan Lambert unintentionally, like, cleaned off with his face.
Yeah.
Guapo, I think I love wrestling.
The best part about that entire segment is, you know, they had that picture already.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a hey, need you two to take a picture like this for us to put up. No, they had that shit already.
Sammy, I want Sammy Guevara to come out next week when he's talking to Dan Lambert and ask him if he likes cream in his coffee.
Oh God.
Anyways, it's tired in here, Guapo. Tell them where to find you.
Follow me on Twitter @Guapo_504. Follow me. I mean, why not? I don't tweet, but fuck it, follow me. If I get 5 more followers in the next, let's see, today is Tuesday, March 29th. If by this Sunday I get 5 more followers, I will start actually tweeting.
Nice. Well, this isn't going out till like Thursday, right?
That's fine.
All right. And you guys know where to find me, or you wouldn't be here. I've been Spaz. This has been Guapo. This has been a clusterfuck of an episode. If you've made it to the end, tell me down in the box below. But for right now, subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later. But for right now, me and this weird fucker over here are tagging out. Bye, guys.
Adios, mis amigos.